Hi, my name is James Llewellyn ap Griffith in the Society. This is a video on how to make the coiled cardboard backstop that we use for archery. They are relatively inexpensive to make, with the cardboard all from recycled sources. The main cost would be the tape that we use to hold together, which isn't a major cost. And they're fairly environmentally friendly, and they do quite well in stopping arrows. And they actually look kind of nice, look a little better than the store-bought bag ones that you can buy. So watch this video and see how they're made, and maybe you'll try to make one of your own. For making this backstop, we're going to be using a small amount of tools. We're going to be using scissors. Scissors will be used to cut tape and to be cutting the cardboard itself that we'll be using. So you want some good sturdy scissors. Do not borrow mom's sewing scissors. Second thing, you're going to need a ruler or tape measure. This will be used for measuring the widths of the pieces that we're going to be cutting and for measuring the circumference of the final product so we know when we've reached what we want to do. For the materials, we'll be using corrugated cardboard. You want to make sure that it is corrugated, that it has the multiple layers. That layers and the pressure of the pieces together is what provides the stopping power for the arrows. Secondly, we're going to require some tape to hold it together. We'll be using packing tape for the most part during the initial construction. And then we'll be using some duct tape for the finishing product. So, once assembling our tools and materials, our first step is going to be to cut the cardboard into workable strips. We first need to figure out how deep our backstop will be. I'll be making this one 13 inches deep, although I have made some as deep as 18 inches. You have to bear in mind, though, that a thicker backstop is a much heavier to transport and set up, and it would also require a deeper stand to hold it. We're going to use some large scissors for the ease of cutting as well. So using the tape measure or a ruler, we're going to measure out the width of the strips that we're going to use, and then using scissors, we'll cut these into manageable slices. It's preferable to make individual strips as long as the piece of the cardboard allows. I find it easier to cut a single strip and then use that to measure out the remaining pieces. It's preferable to have several ready to go at a time. So we're going to measure 13 strips, and you also want to go with the grain of the cardboard, not against it. So this is going to be 13 inches wide. So once we have one piece cut, as I mentioned, we're going to use that to measure the next ones. It's a lot easier and a lot quicker. Early on, single pieces can be implemented, but in later stages, it would be easier to have several strips attached together in one long piece. Attaching them together is simply done by employing a piece of packing tape along the seam. So attaching two of them by buttoning them together here. Using individual pieces or a long series of strips does not affect the final product, but it makes it easier to keep the coil tighter in the beginning by using single ones, which aids in the stopping power of the backstop. Now, the cardboard requires a significant amount of curling. at the beginning and very much less as we near the end of the construction. It's very important that we get the first curl as tight as we can. It will set the tone for the rest of the backstop, and if it's not tight enough, it'll leave gaps and significant holes which arrows will fly through on the surface of the butt. So we're going to start with a single piece. Now what I like to do in the beginning is use a broom handle. What's going to happen is you're going to get creases appearing in the cardboard. And in the beginning, they're going to be quite large. You'll see it fold. It tends to have a folding effect here. This is one of the most hardest parts to do with your hand on your hands. So just take it easy when you do it. And the further you go along, the easier it becomes to do. Cardboard will crease as you try to roll it. So we have to be sure we get the smallest size creases between the creases that we can. So we'll get the first piece done now and taped together. So what we will do is we have another piece that I have already pre-curled. And we'll be adding it to the lip of this one. So there's no protruding ridge. And once we do this, we need some tape. And then once this is ready, we will continue now rolling this one. Again, as tight as we can get it. And again, this securing of it doesn't do anything to the integrity of the final product. But what it does is it just helps it along the way as we're working. So now we have a bigger core, and we will continue adding pieces to get bigger until we get to the end of what we call the bullseye plug. And when we finish that, we'll show you how we proceed. When our product has reached about 12 centimeters across, or 5 inches, we finish it off here. You see I did it with the tape. And this is what's called the bullseye plug. When you have more and more competent archers shooting at your backstop, the center takes the brunt of the punishment. This area has less mass of cardboard than the rest of it, and it can suffer the most damage. To alleviate this and provide for backstop longevity, we build a removable plug. This allows a damaged center to be pulled out and replaced during routine maintenance of the backstop. So we can actually cut and pull this piece out and then make another one and put it in its place. We complete the coil, we secure it with tape. I'm going to encase it in craft paper for ease of removal. And once finished, we'll finish the building of the backstop by creating a new start with a ring of cardboard that is tight but yet detached from this on the outside. So we're going to start building the next one. So I've got it all done up as the bullseye plug is all prepared. So this piece can be removed from the backdrop at any point in time if it needs to be replaced in the center. And what we're going to do is with another piece here, we're going to start another layer, and then from there we're going to build this out to the 60 centimeter backdrop that we need. So we are here at this point so far. It is now 23 inches across. Just another inch and a bit, and then we'll be ready to finalize it because our final diameter for the targets is 24 inches. So we want to be just a little bit bigger than that. Okay, so I've now finished 26 inches of this coiled cardboard plus the inside core here. You will notice, however, that the indentations happen here, and it is a little bit flexible. So some people use this for the target with tape, but you're going to find that this is weak. So what we're going to do next is we're going to add 2 plates of cardboard on top of this. And what that's going to do is provide this on the front and the back, and that's going to provide us with a little bit of sturdiness to this, and it's going to make it last longer. And then when that's done, we're going to cover it completely with craft paper and some duct tape to secure it. So this is 26 inches. It's a little bit bigger than a 60 centimeter target, which is 24. So it's going to provide an inch on it all around. So that's where we go. So the next step is going to be to put the plates on the front and back that'll provide the sturdiness we need. So we've finished now adding the plates on the other side. A lot more sturdier, a lot stronger, and this is now going to take quite a bit of stopping power for arrows too. So the next point we're going to do now, next part, is we are going to cover this with craft paper and then cover the fronts and backs and then duct tape it all down for the final look, and we will be done. And so there we have it. It's finished. Covered with craft paper. Duct tape makes it look pretty decent. We'll be adding a target face to the front, and then we'll go outside and we'll give it a try and show you what kind of stopping power this has. So here we have the finished product, the Backstop. One of the things about this, with the double plates on the front here, when you're shooting at this, after a time this becomes worn and used, you can then simply flip it over and use the other side. Then when this side gets worn down, you can strip both sides off and you can replate it, and it should be good for another 6 months or so. So the next thing we have to do is attach a target face to the butt, and we'll do that now. We have a feet of standard 60 centimeter target, which is 24 inches. Now we can simply attach it like this, use some tape or pins on either side and attach it like that, but that looks kind of a little ungainly. So what I like to do is we're going to trim this target face down. So we cut around the outside of the line, and we go all the way around, and we'll show you what it's like when I'm finished. So now we've cut it down into a nice circle, and what we're going to do is we're going to fasten here. Now again, you can fasten it with tape. What we're going to do is use a simple glue stick, and we're going to glue down the cupboard, and then we're going to attach it with that. And so there we have it attached, and now we're going to see how this works. Okay, we're ready to test out how strong this is in stopping power. I'm going to be using my small 75-pound crossbow at about 10 yards away, and we'll see what kind of impact it has. So we see we've got 75-pound bolts. They're still protruding a good 4 or 5 inches out. So any regular bow, 40 pounds or less, should do well with that too. All right. So this is our cardboard coiled target backstop. We hope that this video will help you when making your own.